My name is Jason Tiedick, and I'm going to teach you today the skills and the secrets of master presenters. Techniques that most of you have probably never even heard of. Techniques and skills that will get even the toughest audiences to thank you. And I'm going to model everything I suggest you do. It used to drive me crazy when I would go watch presenters and instructors, professors, teachers, didn't matter, and they would tell me to do something, but they wouldn't model it. So I had no idea how to do it. Everything I teach you today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it by the way I do it. So a lot of you right now are in this, and you should feel this right now. You're in this moment where you're saying, all right, he better be good. Because if he's not, he's wasting my time. This is the way adults are. They're different from little kids. And little kids don't care if you're good or not. They don't care why they're there, but adults have to know why they're there. So I could say to little kids, I could say, hey, we're about to learn about earthworms today. And the little kids, if I showed one of the earthworms, and oh boy, I can't wait to learn about earthworms. But they will not say, now wait a second, before I learn this, are you a good teacher? And by the way, is this going to affect my college in 20 years? Because if it does, then I'll learn it. But that's what you guys are doing right now. It's exactly what you're doing. Remember, you're wearing a trainer hat today. So if you're the trainer right now, ask yourself, how am I going to get my trainees to say, huh, he's good, or she's good? And then how am I going to get them to also say, yes, I should be here? And the biggest way to answer this is to answer the question, what's in it for me? You should know when I first started teaching, I didn't know this stuff. I didn't. I was not good at this. The first class I ever taught was back in 1991. I had my own class. This is almost 20 years ago. And in 1991, I had a class of junior high school students, and this story is amazing because I was going to just be an aide and help other classrooms. And there's 3 rooms, 38 kids in each room. And all these kids flunked their math class the year before. And they're in summer school now. And there's 3 teachers. And I'm going to be the aide, going from room to room, helping them out. And I knew I was going to be in education. I was all excited. My dad was an elementary principal. I wanted to follow in his footsteps. I asked him questions all summer long about this. And I get there, and sure enough, the classrooms are just unwieldy. They can't handle 38 kids, let alone 38 kids that didn't pass any math classes and have a lot of special needs. So I went up to the principal and I said, hey, I tell you what, I'm going to be a teacher. And I want to start practicing now. So I tell you what, I'll take 6 kids from each room. Give me a class of 18. I can get it down to 32, which is what the research says is about the most you can have. And I'll take 18 and I'll take them upstairs and I'll teach them for the summer. How's that sound? And the principal looks at me and he goes, Jason, I know your father. He and I are in administration together. I'm going to let you do this. So I go to the first classroom. I go in there and I say, I'll take 6 of your kids. Guess what they gave me? They gave me, you can have him and her and him and her. See ya. And then I go to the next 2 classrooms. I did the same thing. So then I walk up there, and the principal comes with me. He stands up in front of the class, and he's one of the most credible people I've ever met. I mean, picture, Gladiator meets James Earl Jones, and this is him. And he stands up in front of the class, and he says, this is Mr. Tiedick. He's your teacher. And I want you to behave yourself, and you guys don't get 2 chances in this summer. You get 1. You've already had your first chance, and you blew it. This is your second chance. So you mess up, and you're out. Well, I thought, oh, this would be great. I can just teach now. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about credibility or rapport. I can just teach. And I can practice that stuff. So I stand up there, and within the first 2 minutes, a desk flies across the room. And that's how my summer went. And I went home every day and I asked my dad, what should I do? What should I do? And then as I started teaching more, I had mentor after mentor after mentor. And I was fortunate enough to have amazing mentors, people that were just unbelievable teachers. Then I went and had amazing professor mentors. And then I got into the business world and started training. And I had some really cool mentors there. And everything I learned, I'm going to tell you today. And that's how we're going to get started. And the first thing I learned was, once those kids hit 13, they had to know why they were there. And since they didn't know why, desks flew. And that's what will happen with you. It won't manifest itself necessarily with desks, but things will fly. And you got to handle this immediately. And one of the things I've discovered is that the audiences that you have are significantly different. And the other thing I've discovered is that the stuff I'm teaching you, it doesn't exist in books. I couldn't find it. I didn't get it in an education degree. I figured all this stuff out by talking to the master presenters and watching them and doing it myself and figuring out what works, and now I'm sharing it with you. It takes a lot of confidence to be able to stand here like this in front of an audience. When I first did this, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, they're looking at my hands, they're looking at them, oh, they're looking at them, I can tell they are. Oh, this is so uncomfortable, I got to stop this. Oh, it's so much better. See, when you bring them up here, you're doing this because it makes who feel better? It's not about you. You got to get that out of your head. It's about them. They need to feel safe, not you. So I'm actually giving you a specific recipe to handle your pace so that when you go into the presentation, you know exactly when you're going to end. And if you have too little or too much time, you know exactly how to handle it now. If you say to me, oh, I don't believe this. I don't believe Jason can actually do this. I'm not going to give you anything in Dazzle that I don't do. So we're going to model this right now. I'm going to show you all three, and I'm going to have you guys come up with questions I've never heard of, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So here's what it looks like. I've just taught you in the last 55 minutes how to give an amazing presentation that will wow your audience and get them to thank you. And I showed you those 7 things. I modeled everything that I suggest you do, and now I send it home by saying, what questions do you have about giving an amazing presentation?